Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into one of the most important events in American history, the Civil Rights Movement. Stick around to learn how brave people fought for equality and justice. The Civil Rights Movement was a series of protests and actions from the 1950s to the 1960s, where African Americans and their allies fought to end racial segregation and discrimination against black people in the United States. They wanted equal rights under the law, just like everyone else. After the Civil War, black people were supposed to have the same rights as white people, but many states, especially in the South, created laws known as Jim Crow laws that kept black people and white people separate and treated black people unfairly. For example, black people had to use different schools, restaurants, and even water fountains. These facilities were often much worse than those for white people. Let's delve into some key events and figures that shaped the Civil Rights Movement. Rosa Parks and the Montgomery bus boycott from 1955 to 56 was a pivotal moment. Rosa Parks, a black woman, refused to give up her seat to a white person on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama. This act of defiance led to the Montgomery bus boycott, where black people refused to ride city buses for over a year. The protest was successful and culminated in the Supreme Court ruling that segregation on public buses was unconstitutional. Another crucial figure was Martin Luther King Jr., one of the most famous leaders of the movement. He promoted peaceful protests and gave powerful speeches, like the I Have a Dream speech, envisioning a world where people would not be judged by their skin color. The movement also saw direct actions like sit-ins and freedom rides, where black and white activists would sit together at whites-only lunch counters or ride together on buses through the South to protest segregation. These actions, often met with violence, drew national attention to the cause. In 1963, over 250,000 people gathered in Washington, D.C. for the March on Washington, where Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his iconic I Have a Dream speech. Finally, the legislative victories, like the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, were monumental. The Civil Rights Act made it illegal to discriminate based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin, and the Voting Rights Act removed barriers that prevented black people from voting, like literacy tests and poll taxes. The Civil Rights Movement changed America forever. It led to new laws that protected the rights of all citizens, regardless of race. The bravery and determination of the people involved inspired other movements for equality, including those for women's rights and LGBTQ+ rights. The fight for civil rights was tough and often dangerous, but it showed the power of standing up for what's right. Thanks to the efforts of those courageous individuals, we live in a more just and equal society today. Remember, the struggle for equality continues, and we can all play a part in making the world a better place. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more interesting stories from history.